Jannik calls out Grand Slams for snubbing prize money concerns despite letters, private meetings with Coco Gauff and others. Jannik has spoken out sharply against tennis's most powerful tournaments. He has accused the 4 Grand Slams of ignoring repeated requests from top-ranked players for fairer prize money distribution and better welfare benefits for lower-ranked professionals. The Italian tennis star criticized the Grand Slam organizers for failing to engage in discussions that players believe are vital for the sport's future health and fairness. Jannik takes aim at Grand Slam's unwillingness to engage with players. The dispute, ongoing through 2025, centers on how tennis' biggest tournaments distribute their massive revenues. According to The Guardian, the Grand Slam events rejected detailed proposals from the world's top 10 male and female players for fairer prize money and welfare reforms in August. Their request for a meeting during the US Open was also declined. Tournament officials reportedly said they could not hold substantive talks until a separate legal case involving the Professional Tennis Players Association (PTPA) was resolved, citing ongoing negotiations over the global calendar and the proposed Premium Tour. Sinner expressed frustration with what he described as a lack of urgency from the sport's richest tournaments. "We had good conversations with the Grand Slams at Roland Garros and Wimbledon, so it was disappointing when they said they cannot act on our proposals until other issues are resolved," Sinner told The Guardian. "Calendar and scheduling are important topics, but there is nothing stopping the slams from addressing player welfare benefits like pensions and healthcare right now." The 24-year-old further emphasized that the major tournaments generate most of the revenue in tennis, and therefore, should make a fair contribution to support all players. Sinner added, "We want to work together with the slams to find solutions that are good for everyone in tennis." How did Sinner and fellow stars launch their collective push for change? The players' main concern comes down to numbers. They argue that the Grand Slams distribute too little of their revenue as prize money, around 12% to 15%, compared to 22% at ADP and WTA events like Indian Wells and the Italian Open, where both tours pay equally. Wimbledon's 2024 prize pool of $66.3 million made up only 12.3% of its $539.2 million revenue. Although the total rose 7% this year to $70.3 million, most of the increase went to semi-finalists and champions. Sinner and Iga Swiatek each earning $4.05 million, while early-round players saw just a modest 5% bump. The standoff began in March when the top 10 men's and women's players, including Sinner, Carlos Alcaraz, Aryna Sabalenka, Coco Gauff, and Madison Keys, sent a joint letter to all 4 Grand Slams demanding a larger share of revenue and stronger welfare programs such as pensions, healthcare, and maternity pay. While the ADP and WTA contribute about $80 million annually to player benefits, the Grand Slams offer none. Talks between player representatives and slam executives at Roland Garros and Wimbledon stalled when officials refused to share financial details or commit to reforms. Further discussions at Wimbledon in July were described as polite but unproductive. More. Coco Gauff, Jannik Sinner, Carlos Alcaraz and others issue second letter to Grand Slams, months after private meeting. The WTA Players' Council also proposed a more balanced prize structure to favor earlier round players, but Wimbledon rejected it. A similar exchange with the US Open organizers in August, despite their record $84.6 million purse, ended the same way. Though Novak Djokovic, founder of the PTPA, is not part of the group behind these recent letters, his organization's ongoing antitrust lawsuit against the ADP, WTA, and ITF has further complicated negotiations. The PTPA alleges the governing bodies manipulate prize money and rankings to suppress competition. The usually composed Jannik Sinner, known for his quiet confidence and ice-cold composure on court, has finally let a different side of himself show, a voice not just for his own career but for the entire generation of rising tennis stars. In a rare moment of candor and conviction, the 2025 season has seen Sinner break his silence on an issue that's been simmering under the surface for years: the unequal distribution of prize money at the Grand Slams and the sport's growing divide between the elite few and the rest of the professional tour. But this wasn't a hasty complaint. According to multiple reports, Sinner, alongside Coco Gauff and a handful of other top-ranked players, had already approached the Grand Slam boards privately. Letters were sent. Closed-door meetings were held. Promises were made, and then quietly shelved. What followed was months of polite patience from players who were hoping for real reform. Now, after watching the issue continue to be brushed aside, Sinner has spoken publicly, signaling what could be a defining moment in tennis' modern era. The calm before the roar. For much of his young career, Jannik Sinner has embodied what many fans call the quiet champion's energy. The Italian star rarely shows frustration, choosing to let his tennis speak louder than his words. But even he admits there are moments when silence feels like surrender. In an interview after his recent match at the Paris Masters, Sinner's tone shifted when asked about the sport's financial structure. "We've tried to do things the right way, respectfully, privately," he said. "We've written letters, we've met with Grand Slam officials, and we've explained our concerns clearly. But it feels like they don't really want to listen." What Sinner and others, including Coco Gauff, Ons Jabeur and Stefanos Tsitsipas, have been pushing for isn't about inflating the already massive paydays at the top. It's about creating a fairer system for all professionals who keep the sport alive week in and week out. While the winners of majors now pocket millions, early round players, qualifiers and doubles teams still struggle to cover travel costs, coaching fees and living expenses. "It's not just about us," Sinner continued. "It's about the players ranked 50, 100, even 200. They deserve to feel that this sport supports them too." Behind closed doors, the letters that went unanswered. Insiders say the push for change began quietly after the 2024 U.S. Open. Sinner and Gauff, both respected for their maturity beyond their years, led a small coalition of players who drafted a detailed proposal outlining more balanced prize distributions, transparent revenue sharing and increased player input in Grand Slam financial decisions. Sources say these proposals were presented in multiple formats: formal letters, scheduled meetings with tournament boards, and even one-on-one conversations with major organizers. Each meeting reportedly ended with polite nods and promises to review the matter carefully. Then nothing. By early 2025, the players' patience had worn thin. When Australian Open organizers announced record revenues but no significant increase in early round compensation, the frustration reached its tipping point. "They keep celebrating record profits while telling us change takes time," one anonymous player said. "How much time do they need when we've been talking about this for years?" Coco Gauff: "It's about respect, not just money." Coco Gauff, who has become one of the sport's most influential voices both on and off the court,